position guarding drives. Can you guard a drive without getting beat every time? Can you back school reverse pivot? Right? Do you have to back school reverse pivot? No, but you guys know what I'm talking about, back school reverse pivot? Yeah, so. How's your counterattack awareness? Like, do you guys run a structured counter where everybody knows where they need to go? Do you have good transition awareness? Do you know how to play in transition? That's one of the huge things that people show up to college, at all colleges, they don't know where to go in transition. That's just not okay. You know, like, that should be the time where, all right, you know where to go. Now you're getting bigger, stronger, faster, gaining experience, learning the subtle nuances of the game that are the small decisions that need to be made that are the key to everything, right? Not learning a basic first line counterattack balance. Like, I feel like that should be already taught, right, through age group, all the way up, high school. And I'm happy to share offline or whenever more information about this kind of stuff. But that's what I'm talking about, right? I'm not like, okay, this guy hits this miraculous bar in over here. You know, watch the Olympics. Most of the shots are in bar ends. They go in the net, right? So it's the basics. And do we understand as coaches what good, solid, basic body position is in all different facets of the game so that we can teach it? Do we know how to teach it, right? Because we have to learn how to teach it. Water polo coaching is so hard. Like, you have no ground, and you try to say something to somebody and it doesn't work, and then you have to go, okay, I said that the wrong way, right? Now I got to try to say it this way. What works? Like, all that stuff makes it really, really difficult. So, all right. Here's a little bit about what coaches can do, and I know that many of you, most of you, all of you do these things already, and so when preparing a presentation like this, it's really hard to think of something that's going to click with everybody because we have varying levels of experience in this room. But whatever, we'll just do it. If you have questions, let me know. All right, this is my favorite John Wooden quote right here. So everybody's got a John Wooden quote. My team doesn't even know who John Wooden is, which is astonishing, right? But kids these days, they don't know who he is. The guy's legendary. So this is the quote about the sacred trust. A leader, particularly a teacher or coach, has the most powerful influence on those he or she leads, perhaps more than anyone outside the family. Therefore, it is the obligation of that teacher, that leader, teacher, or coach to treat such responsibility as a grave concern. I consider it a sacred trust, helping to mold character, instill productive principles and values, and provide a positive example to those under my supervision. I kind of try to operate under that model. I just know how influential my good teachers have been to me in my life, and I know how bad it can be if the teacher isn't good. Like, a tough class can be great if the teacher's great, and a great class can be crappy if the teacher's bad, right? Does that make sense? So, like, good teaching matters, and I know that I've had good teachers. I've been lucky enough to have good teachers, and so when I want to think about that when I'm coaching these young people, and especially high school. College is more like 2x4, you know, like, these guys now they're starting to think they know everything, and you got to really work hard to, you know, connect with them and help them, because the testosterone is really flowing at this point, and it's not necessarily the best thing, with the brain not even developed yet, you know. But high school is like key. Like, these people come into your program, sometimes they start at age 14, and they're yours. They're like a piece of clay, right? And you can mold them however, for the most part, they're very moldable. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? So, who's this guy? Raise your hand if you know who this guy is. Come on, old people in the room. Dean knows. Don't say it. Nobody. This is Jim Sprague. This is my high school coach. So, of course, seen here with the video camera, all right? I get emotional when I talk about this guy because he changed my life. All right. So, he coached me at Sunny Hills High School, and he coached there for 20 years or so. More. 25, won 22 league championships in a row. CIF 4A Division I titles, put a bunch of players, you know, in college, and he dedicated, then he went on and coached at USC for a while. Didn't really work out so well for him in the college game, but then went back to Servite and then started again with Servite and won some championships. So he was an excellent high school coach. And there's something to be said about excellent high school coaches. They're so valuable, right? And so he dedicated his life to the sport and his players. Every school he went to was great. So when a coach goes to various different institutions and does great at them, that's a sign that something is working. All right, he was a great mentor. He was a great teacher of fundamental skills and a pioneer in the use of video as a teaching tool. And without him, I would not be where I am today. I would not be here. He changed my life. Had I grown up, like I said, in the Fullerton High School district and gone to Fullerton instead of Sunny Hills, it'd be a different story. I can promise you that. All right? I show you this photo because we have this power in our hands as coaches, especially coaches of younger people. And if you're coaching age group, you have the power in your hands. And you have to be careful with this power. You're like a superhero because it can be used for good or bad. And so the value of it is substantial. You have the power to change lives, to open up doors for your athletes they never knew existed, and maybe you don't even know that they exist. It's quite possible that one of your athletes goes on to a level that you maybe didn't think they could. That's a possibility. That's a beautiful thing when that happens, by the way. When I coach, I think about Jim Sprague and what he did for me, and I try to do the same for the players I coach now, because I think that's what coaches should do. Great teachers make the class great. Poor teachers make it difficult. It's up to us as coaches to be great teachers. I think it's a noble profession, and it's super hard, and it doesn't get enough credit. I spend more days upset, pissed off at myself about how some interaction went, not sleeping at night when I'm thinking about my guys, than I do thinking, hey man, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest with, walking the earth right now. It's hard. It's a noble profession, so thank you guys for doing it. I think you guys know how hard it is. Okay, so here are some things that I listed for coaches. 1, educate. We have to educate ourselves on the fundamentals of the game and how to teach them. Educate ourselves on basic tactics of the game. Ask questions. Take notes. Thank you for taking notes. Ask a college coach if you can watch training for a couple days or a week. Most will say yes. Email a college coach and ask him, hey, what do you think about this particular thing? You might not get the response, depending on the time of year, you might not get the response right away, but I bet you'll get a response. We like talking about water polo. We love water polo. We want to share our information. I want to share my information. I'll share my email with you at the end of this. Utilize the resources that are available to you from USA Water Polo. So they have this coaches app now where there's tons of video clips where you can access these clips and see different drills. And so if you're struggling a little bit and trying to explain something or you don't really know, it's okay to not know something. Then you can reach out and find out, okay, how do you teach this? What's the verbal cue for this? Or how do you do this? What do you do with that? That stuff's important. Join ODP if you want to. Many of you already do that. Read coaching books. So we had some great coaching book recommendations. I didn't know these. I took a picture of that. I've read a lot of coaching books. If you'd want some recommendations, I can supply some of those. All right. And if you're young, just know that it won't be easy at first. We start out coaching. Raise your hand if you just decided that you wanted to coach and just started coaching. You didn't get some class or certification that you had to take where you got basic level training and progressed 3 levels and then got your cert and then started coaching, right? We just start coaching. It's so weird. Yeah. Right? We just start doing one of the hardest things there is. We just start, okay, cool. How do I do this? Well, I'm going to copy my most influential coach. That's how it's going to go for a long time. And so one of my most influential coaches is Jim Sprague, but the one who's embedded, the 2 that are embedded deep in my brain are Jovan and Ratko Rudic. And so you can't imagine the level of copying that has gone on in my life. I mean, including speaking in a weird Eastern European accent that I don't even have. You must do this. You must do this. That's what happens, right? So we got to spend time with self-exploration and figure out who we are. Because you can't just straight up copy somebody else. It's not genuine. You got to insert your personality in there, but it's hard. It takes a lot of self-examination, which is hard. The video thing is hard, watching yourself coach. But we owe it to our players to teach them correctly. We have to want to be good coaches as much as we want our players to be good players. We're asking them to try to be good players. We need to be good coaches. Very good. Keep growing as a coach. It's easy to stagnate. So easy to stagnate. My next suggestion is organize. If you don't do that, I'm sure that most of you do it already. Some of this is just basic. Create a coherent, logical lesson plan for each workout. I'll share a workout plan with you on the next slide. Okay, organize what you're doing in all facets of the game. Organize what you're doing in all facets of the game. Start counterattack defense, front court defense, counter O, front court O, 5-on-6, 6-on-5. What are we doing? Keep it simple. Doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be coherent, easy to understand, and then work the plan. Make drills that are part of your system, right? Train the fundamental, the basic skills that are a part of the greater part, okay? And do not be afraid to repeat drills over and over. I know that sometimes I have a tendency as a coach to just like, oh, I want to throw this wrinkle in there and this and that. Then I went and watched my kids learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They did the same thing every day, and they're like, ha 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 ha. They love it. You know, we're going to do this jump rope thing over the. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yes, we need to keep things interesting, stimulating. Yes, yes, but it doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, KISS, right? Everybody knows what that is. Ratko Rudic taught me his theory of drills, and that is when you start a new drill, okay, there's a period of time where the players have to learn the drill. So we shouldn't become frustrated in the first moment of teaching a new drill, although the tendency is to do that.